As an appendix to the chairs video, I would like to show you in this quick session how maybe I would have approached modeling this one and then using the bend command. So this one I quickly sculpted into the shape I wanted, but you know that up here we had some issues trying to find the correct directions for how to manipulate the vertices. So we could easily also build this whole thing just via the curve modifier. So what I will do is set my 3D cursor to there and then position the 3D cursor, set the origin to the 3D cursor. That is good. And in my design, you see that actually the object, when I go to local, grows along the x-axis. That's not ideal. So what I will do is switch to the 3D cursor. For the moment, I will set this off. In edit mode, select everything. And then in a straight top view, orthographic, not perspective, R90. Or in 3D view, RZ and 90 and minus. Okay, so now it actually grows towards the x-axis. Perfect. So the mirror axis now can't be x, but should be y in this case. And RZ minus 90. Okay, positive 90. I move this part back. Good. So now I changed the orientation of the mesh inside the object. I can go ahead and add a Bezier. So going to edit mode, then maybe V vector, select this one, and then selection to cursor, okay, and then R90 and minus, so it lines up. Perfect, good. So now we have the object and the deformation curve lined up correctly. And now I can go ahead and a lot of these things I did for the deformation, I will just do by hand. So all these, for example, S, Z, and 0, I flatten there. Actually, the whole thing I will select, and here cursor to selected, S and Z and 0, push it all down. Okay, so we have a nice flat object. Great. So now the deal is to figure out how could I actually deform everything so it fits into that shape. And yeah, we created this initial mesh right where it should creep up. Okay, I did some undos, so shoot, I have to redo this now. Okay, not a big deal. Zip and zip AA 3D cursor SZ0. Okay, good. Next point, we need to add now the curve modifier, U to U. Okay, good. And we can see where we have to position this one. I think this one might be good actually after there. Yeah, good. So now we can go ahead and try to figure out the amount of curves we need and the shape. So I know this one is maybe somewhere there, but now everything is vector. That's not what I want. So W and maybe aligned, W subdivide, then this one maybe we bring down here. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. W subdivide, this one I bring to there. And there you see now, kind of like from the side, we start deforming the whole part. So now we can maybe pay attention to the top area. So I moved this one, and let's see how we can move this one. Maybe this goes to there. This one I move out a little bit more, and there. maybe move this way. Here this one goes to down, so we bring it to there. And maybe like this. Okay, possible. Maybe. But the nice thing is, you see, this way we can create a nice curve again to do the deformation. And then here we have to adjust all the curves and points so they look good. This curve is shorter than the geometry, so I can bring it to there. Okay. So, this is pretty close to maybe what we had before, but this is flat, and this is not really what I want. So what can I do now? Well, the cool thing is, if I go into edit mode, I could say show me the preview of the mesh, and you see this is flat, and now in a flat version I can start bending these parts up. There. So the trick then there obviously is to try to bend this in good steps. So similar to what we did with the bent plywood stool. So quite similar. Yeah, see, there it's getting closer. Maybe subdivision of 2 will be fine, so we have enough points. Subdivision of 0. See, there we don't have enough points, and with 1 we get closer. With 2 we're pretty good. Okay. Also, you see the lip here, I actually deform based on the curve before. I needed to model that deformation actually by hand. So now I can go ahead and, for example, also here move these parts up, and ooh, see, everything else will start following it. So with the curve I deform it along one direction, and then based on in edit mode how I deform the mesh along the other direction, I then define the other bend direction, and then, well, the combination together defines then how everything will later look. So it's pretty fantastic process. There. We can also turn this one on, so the points are then projected right onto it. But just keep in mind, when I select this one, you see where my 3D cursor is. Sorry, my 3D widget. And all I have to do and can is actually push up and down. You see I push up and down, but it pushes it actually this way. So keep that in mind when you do it. But then this way, it's a pretty straightforward process to do this. I'm not so sure how I like this. This is maybe a little bit too strongly bent. There, maybe like this. And this is fine. There. Sweet Christmas. Pretty awesome show on Netflix if you want to see it, and everybody knows what the reference I'm making to. Good. Maybe a little bit of fine-tuning of this area there. Maybe this is a little bit too deep down. There. Just going to smooth this out a little bit. GG, go to there. And yeah, maybe this one go one tick up. And let's see. Yeah, this is pretty nice. Okay, so there we are. This is now kind of like a combination of how I quickly sculpted it before, but then when I wanted to get actually really nice deformations, and I do not want to be limited to the way how I only can deform something based off the polygon mesh I have, then I simply can build it with a subdivision surface modifier, interactively add more points, and then this I will send to the curve modifier, so it takes this really flat part and then bends it for me, and then I can add a thickness and add the secondary rounding for it if we want to. Actually, you know what? I will not do this, and in this case keep it nice and sharp. I think this looks better. Okay, that was it. There was actually one thing I forgot to mention. No, because I actually deform everything via the curve modifier, I do not need exactly the same dense geometry. So I can, in this case now, when I use the curve modifier, I can actually simplify this mesh drastically a lot. Because, well, via the subsurface modifier I create more faces, so the curve modifier can then take care of it and deform that stuff for me. So you see in this case now I removed a lot of the points, and then with the correct amount of subdivision surface modifier setting, which then I will feed to the bend command, I get beautiful results there. So now here we have really nice smooth curves and transitions. That actually set this curve, nope, 12. So let's set this one to 3264. And there you see right here it cleaned up a little bit. Not too much, because this whole object needs one tick more of subdivisions. Bzz, there. Nice and smooth. So also this is my 40 by 40 seating area. So it's kind of like 16 inches, I think. Yeah, no, okay, 16 inches by 16 inches. So I also adjusted then my seating area so that it actually starts to include kind of like an area that is big enough for my hip and then legs also to rest on. Now, as you can see again, the advantage of this approach of low resolution modeling and then increasing the resolution via the subsurface and then bending it is simply less control points, and I can get much nicer results without a lot of extra work. So that's basically the whole deal behind this. Minimizing work, still maximizing control and curvature output you want to have.